Hey guys,
welcome back to the Mabby podcast. Today we're going to be talking about not one, but two indigenous groups. So, first one, we're going to do the Mohawk Akwesasne and the Siksika Nation. Before we get started, thank you so much for 100K subscribers. Like, it means so much. We're gonna do giveaways, more podcasts for you guys, maybe have podcasts with some of you, maybe somebody might be lucky. So before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your opinions on what we're talking about. And we really apologize, if we say these words wrong. We're really not trying to. It's just like kind of hard to say, you know what I mean? So would you like to go?
Okay, so a little bit of background information on the Mohawk of Akwesasne. They are settled on the St. Lawrence River, kind of surrounding Ontario and Quebec, and some smaller communities around New York City. As a lot of Indigenous groups do, they have the inherent right to self-governance. This is because they just have different cultures, traditional practices, beliefs, morals than what the government might align themselves with. They also have different ideas of how a government should run. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking if they're in a reserve or more far away in land, they're not gonna if they don't bother you, then why should you be upset? So them having self-governance is pretty good if they really want it that bad. And they'll be peaceful and they're smart. I don't see a problem at all.
Yeah.
So do you agree?
Yeah, I think they're all smart individuals.
Exactly.
They all have the ability to make decisions, so why not?
They're human.
Yeah.
So the Siksika Nation, so they are about, they're in Alberta, but they're 80 kilometers away from Calgary and 3 kilometers away from the south side of the Trans-Canada Highway. A good reason, why they deserve to have self-governance is because they're community, and community is more stronger than one individual or a government. They're their own government. And are you okay? Sorry, just making sure. So if they work together, especially if they're in the same nation, it's easier to communicate because some have the mother tongue, and it's so much easier to problem solve if there's the same people in a way. And I came across an article and they were talking about if you work nation to nation and they have this choice to do this, the First Nations can talk to one another. And talking to a non-First Nation group / community is more difficult because they don't really know what's happening in the reserve. But if you talk to people that are in the same reserve and land, they'll be able to communicate, and it'll be more faster process.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if the nations get to work each other in the nation, they can relate to each other more.
Exactly.
Yeah. For both the Mohawk of Akwesasne and the Siksika, the Indian Act took away this right. There was no freedom for Indigenous people to practice their traditions or even speak their mother tongue.
Yes. By, this getting taken away for years and years, culture was lost. The Mohawk Akwesasne was a part of the groups affected by the Indian Act. Unfortunately, the government took total control over the Mohawk groups all this time, which is really not fair, because it's somebody going into your house and say, hey, I'm making your choices now. So it's probably really not fair.
Yeah, it would be really hard to believe for something like that to happen, because no one tries to make decisions for you, but it just proves how horrible the government was to the Indigenous peoples in our history.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy how the self-government spoke to the First Nations group. Well, they actually didn't. They might say they might have lied, but they didn't really speak to them, so they didn't get what they were trying to do. So they didn't get to have a happy life. So that's why all the trauma stuff has passed on from generation to generation, because that first step of the government really messed up the stuff.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, I think it's really important to have the mother tongue when you're trying, because if you are trying to help another nation that doesn't speak the same language as you, there's going to be misinterpretations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Having that is quite difficult, because it's you talking to somebody that doesn't really know English, and is it's kind of hard, So I think a lot of the time people put different First Nations groups together when they are actually very different, and like, you know, they're all First Nations, but like there's different tribes and like everything, so it'll be kind of difficult. And like self-governance is very important, because if it gets taken away, and like it's gonna be difficult for, you know, people to communicate easier, and it's gonna like bring a less stronger bond against like the non-First Nation people.
Yeah.
So this was a pretty short podcast video, but we didn't collect very much information, but we're gonna have a part 2 if you guys like this video. Make sure in the comments, you know, write some information, write some facts. Even if you're indigenous, write some stories, we'll read them. Maybe we'll have a part 2 video, FaceTime you, or just read the comment. And yeah, so thank you for watching this.
Yeah,
don't forget to like and subscribe, and you know, yeah,
see ya.
bye.
Bye.